to That Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome to That Wrestling Podcast. The good bad guys of Wrestling Podcast are back talking all things of the week that was in professional wrestling. I'm Brian. I'm sober, unlike for our Elimination Chamber reaction pod. Sorry to disappoint the listeners and viewers. Jason, I know you were a fan of that at the end of the pod. Yeah, all water for me tonight. Jason is here. Joe is here. We doubt we'll hear from Kevin tonight, but you just never know. Guys, we are in the fallout from Elimination Chamber. We're on the road to WrestleMania, and that road began in Ottawa, Canada for Monday Night Raw. Not Ottawa, Illinois, by the way, Chelsea Green. Not Ottawa, Illinois. Easily confused. I'm speaking to the manager on that one. Show opens with Sami Zayn calling out Kevin Owens, and Kevin basically saying, I didn't do that for you. I did it for your family so they didn't have to see you like my family saw me at the Rumble. And if you want help, go ask Jey Uso. Basically, go F yourself. And he left. Guys, we talked a lot about after Elimination Chamber. That was one of the first things, Jay, right? Why didn't KO help Sami during the match? Did you like the reasoning? Does it make sense now? Yeah.
We got the answer.
Yeah.
We found out why he waited. It wasn't a thing so Sami could win the belt. It was so that Sami's family didn't have to see him get destroyed like his did.
Yeah. And I thought that was great because while Sami at Royal Rumble saved Kevin Owens from getting completely, let's say, end of career, he still let him get handcuffed, kicked in the face 15 times. I mean, come on. He did not help him until he absolutely had to. Joe, you like the explanation? It seems like we didn't get the hug at Elimination Chamber. We didn't get it on Monday. This seems like this is going to be a process if it's going the direction like we think to.
Fuck that hug.
No slow handshake. I liked it. I liked the explanation on why he did it. It was for the family. It had nothing to do with you, because they even played the flashback of "I'm done with you." He said that like after War Games. So he's a Kevin Owens, man of his word. Whether you agree with him or not, no matter what character he's playing, he doesn't lie. Even when he lies, he's not lying.
Yeah,
because he doesn't like liars.
Yeah, yes. He doesn't like liars like Ezekiel.
Oh, that's right. I was trying to pinpoint what feud that was from. Yes, the Ezekiel feud. Yeah, I like the slow burn. We got time. We've got April 1st, April 2nd. So we've got a little over a month to go. So let's let it play out. It's off to a good start. Also on Raw, we had Omos challenging Brock to a match at Mania. Now, the reaction online, I'd say, was universally panned, but maybe more than anything that I noticed, a lot of laughter, a lot of like, wait, what? Where did that come from? Like, would you be down for Omos versus Brock? That's really out of left field, it felt like.
Hey, Joe, can we see if we can do this in unison on 3? 1, 2, 3. Dud.
No.
Dud is your thing, Joe. Dud is your thing.
Dud.
Man, you are terrible at this game.
I thought Kevin was dud.
You're dud.
No. Well, I don't remember now. Is Kevin
you're dud?
Kevin's breaking news.
No, you're
okay,
dud.
fine.
Yeah, you're dud.
You're dud. Kevin's breaking news.
Wow.
You're terrible at this game. Nobody wants
we
to
rehearsed.
See this. Nobody wants to see this, right? Like, it's not just me.
The one thing I'll say, Jay, was maybe it was, again, the Elimination Chamber reaction pod. That was kind of the starting point of the Brock and Omos and Lashley
and Strowman,
and like all the beats.
Commander Aziz,
right?
And
the
Ghost of Zeus, and the Ghost of Andre the Giant,
Big Show,
Kevin Nash, Big Show, Captain Insano. Like, yes,
So
this is very similar.
Of hope. Yeah.
Now this is very similar to remember, 2 years ago or a year and a half ago when I said, yeah, I can't wait to see Nick Gage and Matt Cardona. And then I'm like, oh, we're actually going to get it. Yeah. I feel like I'm in that same boat. And maybe Brock doesn't really want to work Mania this year. So they're going to give him, this. But the issue is, where does it go on the card? Because they always say you either want to be first or last. Second, I thought about second too, Joe. That's the jerk off match, the jerk off general
match.
The dud,
there was the one. Was it a Mania or was it a SummerSlam where I think it was Brock versus Seth, and they went first? It
was the first match. Yes,
I don't remember what show it was, but we were all like caught off guard.
The one in New York. It was the one in New York.
So that Mania then. Okay,
Brock ain't sticking around.
Right.
That's the main event.
Exactly. So maybe Brock pulls that card. I want to get the next
first
flight
match,
to
night 2.
Saskatchewan. I could see that.
Night 2.
I mean, are we? So obviously we're not excited, but do we have an inkling?
Happening.
Do we think? Yeah, that's what I would say, Joe. Is a swerve coming up?
What's the
But I said this. I said this a couple years ago when it was Kurt Angle's last match, and it's like they're not going to do that against Corbin. That's set up. There's no way. It's going to be John Cena. It's not going to be Corbin. No way they're going to waste Angle's last match on Corbin. And it happened in New York.
Maybe Brock doesn't want to deal with Omos. Maybe we get Brock and Shelton at Mania. Now that's something I want to see.
The old roommates.
Yep.
Old Minnesota team. Yeah, I mean, I obviously Monday we'll know more if Brock shows up for the contract signing. It does feel on the surface like there's something more to this. I'd be very surprised if Brock just comes out and says, now I think about you, Omos, when I'm in my bed with my wife for 5 hours, right? And signs the contract and see you at Mania. I don't know, but yeah, that was a caught off guard.
Omos who, because he doesn't have a last name.
Right. That joke goes out the window. You got to save that for Lashley only.
Or will they do the contract signing and Lashley will beat up Omos, sign the contract, and then Strowman will hit Lashley and sign the contract, and then General Aziz will hit Strowman and sign the contract, and we'll get Jason's match of the Fatal Five-Way of all the Giants against Brock.
The big meaty men slapping
and
me.
And Shelton will beat them all up and say, ain't no stopping me, and then sign the contract.
But then we need Bray Wyatt. How does Bray tie into that show?
And it's a pitch black match.
Yes, there it is.
Yes, but then it has to be the last match, so it's nighttime.
Well, no, there's a roof.
Can't have a pitch black match in the. Oh, it's I thought it was a open field. Or is it retractable?
Well, but Mania will start at 5 o'clock.
That's what I was saying. The time change. Yeah, you'll have to do it later to get the full.
It's like having the
effect.
Undertaker Bray Wyatt match during the daytime for WrestleMania. They wouldn't do that.
Kevin was there for that one too. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Yes. I don't know.
What can you do?
I'm not happy. I don't want to see Brock and Omos.
All right, we shall see. One thing, guys, I didn't put this on the rundown, so a little bit on the spot. But what do we think? Because we'll get it revealed on Monday. Is the gift that Maurice gave the Miz, and he'll say it on Miz TV. I'll go first. I think it's a invitation to host WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think the Miz will be hosting.
Okay.
When WrestleMania goes A-list. Hollywood, it makes sense. The A-list Mania for the A-list couple, they're both hosting.
Yeah, I mean that's good.
It makes sense.
I wasn't even thinking that.
Yeah.
Because what else would he be doing?
Ball enlargement surgery.
Because it's like when New Day hosted, it didn't put them down on the card. It's just they didn't really have anything for that tag team. I know they weren't. That's why they hosted. And when they came out to introduce the Hardys.
That's really good, Brian. I don't know if you actually thought of that or you read that somewhere, but that's really good.
No, that's all up here. I've already booked it. Miz gets the hosting job, and like early on in one of the nights, Dawkins and Montez like beat him up and take over as host for the rest of the night. So I've already got it all booked out because they're not going to have something to do with Mania. So I love both of those guys as far as entertainment value goes. So yeah, I'm already down the road, fellas.
Good job.
Plus, the envelope was a golden envelope, like it's an Oscar or something. So,
Yeah. All right. So throwing that out there. Finally, we had a great main event match. Edge, Austin Theory. Man, guys, Theory's so good. He's so good. I really, really like him so much. I love this match. It was interrupted by Finn Balor. So, Jay, I know you were thinking Priest Edge Mania. It looks like it's going to be Finn, or at least off of this past week.
It's going to be the purple. It's going to be the purple demon.
Is that what we're doing? We're doing demon
so.
and spooky time.
Before we get into that, I don't know if we talked about it on the recap show. During that tag match, Edge and Beth used and was called by Michael Cole the Shatter Machine.
We didn't mention that. Yes, you're right.
So I was listening to Dak's podcast, like I always do every week, and he talked about it this week. He went and trained with Edge and Beth over the last month because none of them were working.
Oh, how
they all live in North Carolina, and they brought up, hey, we kind of have this idea if you're cool with it. And he was like, yeah, whatever. No way. They're not going to do it. And sure enough, they did it. And when they watched it, his wife, Dax's wife, filmed his reaction.
Oh,
and he got emotional.
Fun. Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah. And that is another reason why I love FTR with Dax. He just goes in depth. Now, this week, he talked about all the wrestling from last weekend. He talked about Mercedes Moné at New Japan. He talked about the Elimination Chamber and how all of and he just breaks the stuff down. And his live show that's happening on March 30th here in LA for WrestleMania week, they announced the first guest. Of course, no surprise, it's Cash, but that's exciting. And I bought the VIP ticket with the tequila tasting afterwards.
Oh, how
so I'm pretty pumped for that.
Nice.
And so Finn Balor looks like we're going to get Finn and Edge, but I think it'll be Demon Edge, maybe against Brood Ed, or no.
Yeah,
I said that wrong, but Balor against Edge. As long as we don't get the projection on the screen like that Bray Wyatt Randy Orton match from a few years ago with the maggots, we should be good. It'll still be a great match. I'm really excited for it, even though I really thought it was going to be Priest and Edge.
Yes. Yeah, I liked your reasoning way better than where this was going. But that was fun. 3 coup de grace to really put Edge out and make this happen at Mania. Joe, your thoughts?
It was pretty much what I predicted. I said it was going to be Balor versus Edge, and I like the idea of Damian Priest, but I mean, let's just be honest. Balor's the one who's the leader, I guess, of the Judgment Day, even though lately it's been Rhea Ripley's been the leader, but when it comes to the male leader, it's Finn Balor.
Yeah. So Sunday night, the return of the WWE A&E programming with the biography. Oh boy, Joe has things. Okay, hold on. We have
my dog Harley isn't happy either.
Harley, maybe because despite being interviewed, it doesn't look like we made the show. But there's more episodes to come, so maybe.
Well, we were in the intro to Rivals. I don't know if you saw it when Brock put the tractor under the ring and lifted it up from SummerSlam. We were in it, so.
We are immortalized,
but our interview segments were not there. It is up on my IMDb though, much like the Page movie and the Kenny Chesney concert movie from 2006. So
excellent. It all counts. But yeah, we had the biography of the NWO, and we had Rivals, Hogan versus Andre. Guys, I did catch the biography. I haven't gotten the Rivals yet. I enjoyed it. I think Eric Bischoff is a great storyteller. You know, he has his 83 Weeks podcast. He does a really nice job. And as much as we've seen the documentaries and heard the stories over and over again, and a lot of that was well covered in this episode, there was even little things though, like when they're showing Hogan's speech at Bash at the Beach, like there was a camera angle I've never seen before. That was kind of like right outside the ring with Mean Gene. His back is to the camera, and you're looking at Hogan. And it's like, wow, there's like new footage. Like I've seen this thing a gajillion times. Like, how is this possible? And that story that Bischoff told about the young lady who
Oh my
lost
God,
her
that
dad
was so
and
good. So
walked
good.
her down the aisle. I don't know. You have to wear the hat though. Really?
You know,
it's a wedding. Come on.
I, when I saw the hat, I'm
Yeah.
like, well, but I get it. But
Maybe
I
she
also,
got it for him. I don't know. Yeah.
It just, I hate when guys wear sneakers with suits. Hats are included in that, by the way, too. But maybe because it was such a huge part of maybe it was the dad's hat.
Oh, that's fair too. It's so yeah.
And this one was good too because it was more about Bischoff and Hogan. Sean Waltman was in it, Nash was in it a little bit too, and then like Nash said, it's the first time they've done anything since Scott Hall passed away.
Yeah.
If you look over my shoulder here, that's Hall, Nash, Bischoff, and Six behind me. I met them at Starcast a few years ago. So like, even though we all knew it, it felt a little different to me. Joe?
Yeah, I think the focus was more on Bischoff and Hogan, but man, did Hogan change a lot of the narrative throughout that whole thing. Man, did he have selective memory of when he said that Bischoff was a mark of Holland Nash. What? Or when he said when he said that Sting didn't kick out and it was his fault, it wasn't Hogan's fault for changing it, even though Nash threw him on the bus, under the bus, saying like, you don't give a wrestler creative control. Like Nash was on when he said like watching in the back the Hindenburg, the humanity. And then
oh yeah, he did throw that line.
Hogan's like selective memory on the WWE run. When he's like, we all understood that the Toronto crowd turned on Rock and made Hogan the heel. I mean, made Hogan the face. We know that. But when he said that he flew from Toronto back to Tampa, then back to Montreal the next night on Raw with the red and yellow gear, no, he didn't. He was on the next night on Raw with the NWO gear,
and Rock called him out. He says, "Why are you wearing those colors?"
Yeah, like his selective memory of, when Vince told me to go home, I flew like a private jet straight to Tampa,
now
got my red and yellow gear, and I was in Montreal the next night on Raw.
I feel like though I have heard that version of the story before, and I do believe it happened. I just wonder if it was between Raw and SmackDown, because SmackDown was on Tuesdays at that point. So I wonder if after what happened Monday night, then Hogan went home Tuesday to come back to SmackDown. But of course, on this one, they made it sound like it was for Raw.
But when he kept saying that Bischoff was a mark for Hall and Nash and he just did whatever they wanted, no, he didn't. He didn't go into business with Hall and Nash after everything was there. He was with Hogan. He followed Hogan around. If anything, Bischoff was attached to Hogan the whole time, not Hall and Nash. But yeah, Hogan's selective memory was just like, it was driving me nuts the whole time. I'm like, no, that's not what happened. You're blaming Sting.
That's how it happened, brother.
He didn't kick out.
Now, Brian, the Rivals, this series has been really good. I was bummed that I wasn't on it because it was interviewed about a lot of Hulk Andre stuff. So I was kind of bummed about that. But again, it's just so good. And again, we've heard most of the stories, but I really enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the season, whether we're on it or not. But man, like I'm all in on A&E.
Yeah, it was a good first week. I haven't seen the Rivals, like you said. I've got to get to that here on my DVR. But yeah, they've always just, the quality is really, really good. And I think that definitely showed this past week. Let's talk about something that's a little more up your guys' alley. And if Kevin was here, certainly up his alley. WWE 2K23. This will be released on March 17th. And they had a special YouTube reveal of the ratings.
Up, down. Yeah.
Yes. Revealed the ratings for all the men and women in the game. I think it was like 2 hours long.
Yeah.
It looked really good. but I could not devote the time to watching all of that. But I sent you guys at least, I don't think it's the entire roster because like Roman's not on there and Brock. So it's not the entire roster, but I sent the roster that they announced. You guys had a chance to review the ratings. Do you feel anyone is underrated or overrated, Joe?
I feel like the Miz is underrated
What
because they
was
have
he?
him
I
at
don't have him.
85. They have him at 85, and
Okay.
he's a triple
Alright.
crown winner. I know he's like basically
He's actually a 2-time Grand Slam champion, not a triple crown.
he's a two-time. Okay, sorry, two-time Grand Slam winner. I feel like that should give him the 90, not 85, because if you look at the mid 80s, I mean, Liv Morgan's in 86.
Oh God, that's terrible.
Johnny Gargano is an 84.
Went up 2 points.
Happy Corbin's 83. I don't know. I just
looking at this list,
Damian Priest is an 84.
I think that's maybe a touch.
That's fair for him, but not Miz.
Fair. Okay, I got you with comparisons.
So that's why I think it's like, when you have these legends, which he's in that category now, give him at least 89, 90. I mean, AJ Styles is an 89. I mean, these things don't really matter.
Gigi Dolan is an 81. Natalia's an 82. Omos is an 82.
Natalia's gonna be pissed about that.
Omos is an 82. Otis is an 80. Ricochet's an 82. My guy, Ridge Holland, 81. Yeah, Miz needs to be higher. Tyler Breeze hasn't worked for 81. WWE in 3 years, and he's a 77.
Yeah, they threw him a bone on that one.
I mean, he's back doing the up, up, down, down stuff. Fact is, with these games, I'm terrible at them. And I didn't buy them for years, and there was a couple years where they were just terrible games. But I bought last year's game with Rey Mysterio. You guys want to take a guess on how many hours I put into this game?
30 minutes.
Well, what? Well, okay, is that correct? I was gonna say give me an over under total, and I'll tell you over or under. But
over under what Joe said.
Oh God,
pretty much.
I'll go over. You spent 1 hour just trying to play different people.
I've spent 0 minutes playing this game.
Is this still the case?
I loaded it into my Xbox.
Okay, yeah.
And that takes like an hour or whatever. I haven't played it once.
I bought it as well.
You are a good wrestling fan, Jay. You're just buying shit, don't even play it.
I think that's it. I think I bought it because I'm the wrestling guy.
That's amazing. Hey,
I have not played it.
Good.
When it comes to the WWE games, I have the same rule as it comes to Madden games. I buy it every 5 years. The last WWE game I bought before this year was 2K17 with Brock on the cover. 5 years later, I bought 22. So I'm going to get because the rosters, like if you go year by year, the roster's the same. Maybe a guy here and there isn't there anymore, but it's pretty much the same game.
From year by year, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, year by year. So if you wait 5 years, you're going to see a difference in the gameplay.
Completely.
Like the one I had beforehand was 14, so that was a 3-year difference. But that one had the shield, and Cody is dashing, and they had the NWO DLC downloadable character where I got to be like Scott Steiner and Macho Man as Madness and everything like that. So that was worth it. But for this one, I like the fact that they've added war games to the gameplay, but it will still be there 5 years later, so I can wait.
So I think the two reasons why I bought it, what really hooked me on it was GM mode, where you can create your own shows. And I'm like, that's awesome. We fantasy book on this show all the time. That could be fun. And the other reason why I realistically thought I bought it was because I bought it on Black Friday when it was like $19 at Walmart because they put out the bins and with the stickers on them, and everything's marked down drastically. So look, man, I'm guilty of it. And guess what? I might buy it again this year.
The over-under, the bar is low. It's 0. So nowhere to go but up.
I mean, look, if I wasn't so bad at this game, I would. All the fighting games are terrible. UFC. Like, I just downloaded Mortal Kombat 11 just to try and play it. Holy shit, is that game intense for starters?
Mhm.
And it's, there's a million fucking buttons, and I'm just like a button masher anyway. But yeah, I mean, look, if as long as they put out a good game, I'm good with it. Because that one year it was awful.
You're a
Glitches.
golf game guy.
I have been playing the shit out of PGA.
You're always throwing up these clips on Facebook of 54-yard eagle or whatever it is.
Welcome to Chip City. Chip City is my thing. I have
2K21. I'm a fan of the golf games too, and with the arcade that Kevin pretty much talked me into getting to have Golden Tee on there, 5 years worth of them. That's
do you have the ball?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh, you have the
you
ball.
Can't play
too.
Golden Tee without the ball. Yeah. So
Wow.
he told me to get that, and it had the 5 different Golden Tees. Wife comes downstairs. She's like, "Why are you playing this game?" I'm like, "Because it's Golden Tee."
Yeah. 21, I liked it, but it was kind of bland. 23, they really stepped up. They got Tiger back in the game. They got Michael Jordan and Steph Curry to be part of the game.
Oh, nice.
They got all the big brand names of Barstool and Jordan brand and Nike and Adidas and Puma, and they got all the brands where your golfers can be outfitted in just great stuff. So 23 is really good, Joe. And I know you have your 5-year rule. Get 23. I think you will fucking love it. And I love it.
21 I only got because it was part of the monthly PlayStation Plus package. So it's not like I paid for it.
Oh, okay.
So it was the free download.
You should buy
I could get 23.
Buy 23. It's really good.
Nice.
And that I'm still good at. So, because I always played Tiger Woods throughout college, and I love that game. I still have a couple of them for the PS2.
I've got 5 Tiger Woods PS2 games right behind this camera. So, love it.
So my underrated
and Brian.
so my underrated. No,
Brian likes the Wii.
I'm
still playing Punch Out.
the SpongeBob graphic of later that hour or whatever. The 4 that I had, and I think a couple of these are more recency that I'm sure when they set these ratings a little while ago, maybe they're a little bit more justifiable. Chad Gable is 77. He's phenomenal. You see what he did to Bronson Reed with that suplex? Come on. So he's a 77. Dom is a 78. Now that must be pre-prison Dom. Okay.
Oh,
yeah, it's got to be way up once you've gone through the joint.
So you're telling me in the 2K universe, Dom is a better wrestler than Chad Gable.
That's what we're finding out.
Otis, who is the student, is better than Chad Gable.
That's true. He is a former Money in the Bank contract winner. So I don't know. Maybe that gave him the extra point. So those two, Austin Theory at 82. That's got to be higher. And Montez is 82. Again, he's about to really break out, it seems. So those
next year he'll be a 90. Montez.
Correct. All right. Let's talk some AEW. They've been on the back. What'd you say? No. Did you say no?
Do we have to?
We don't really have to. That's kind of my point. Was
the only thing that I want to talk about is the 4 million viewers each week and how they calculated that number. If one person watches for 1 minute from 7 p.m. to 12 midnight. That's how they get the 4 million number. Brian, I saw you had an interaction with Andrew Zarian, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
And like Tony's big important announcement was to let Adam Cole make the announcement.
I have a theory on why he did that.
Oh, I bet we all have a theory on why he did that. Please go ahead.
Dud. No. But essentially that was it. Either Tony would have announced that and he would have either gotten silence or boos. Bring Adam Cole in. We all love Adam Cole. We're excited for Adam Cole to come back. It's met with,
are we?
Sure. I'm optimistic it'll go good. but it's met with I guess polite applause. Is it like a few cheers? Yay!
And it was a backstage segment,
It was
not
Why
in
isn't that in
the
the
crowd.
ring? Why isn't that in the ring? Why isn't that on the
Yeah.
stage? Seriously. Come on.
Weird. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, there is that. That's the first thing I saw with the press release. Was 4 million. I'm like, excuse me, what is that? So yeah, Andrew Zarian, he's one of the hosts of the Mat Men podcast, and I think in his day job, he's alluded to like he's a television advertiser, executive sort of thing. So because he talks about, I know this person at USA and this person at Turner. So I said, hey, what do I know? I don't know these things. How could they quantify that? And he's like, I have no idea how they came up with that. So, and then we got that explanation. You said, Jay, 7 to midnight, 1 minute, 1 minute. That is me flipping through the channels. Oh, I got to let the dog out to go pee. Oh, it stopped on TNT. I come back a minute later. Now I'm an AEW viewer. that's some good. What's the phrase? Moving the goalposts, as they say. Moving the goalposts,
or flipping the channels, and look, a preview for an upcoming Marvel movie. I'm gonna watch this 30-second
commercial,
and then turn the channel. A commercial people could stay for.
Yeah,
But in radio, it's 15 minutes. It's the quarter hour.
Okay,
and this, I mean, that is that.
that's a good one.
I don't get it. I don't understand. And look, I want to know if that 4 million was a type. Any chance that's a typo? Any chance we get a retraction tomorrow?
Oh my God!
Like, you can't make that. That's like me saying, we joke on this podcast. We're the 100 ranked podcast. No, we're not. We're like there's 3 million podcasts in the world. We're probably in like the 2 million rank. And I'm okay with that. But that's like me saying, oh yeah, we're in the hundreds. No. We're like in the 2 millions. AEW's in the 1 millions.
Yeah.
Fucking 4 million viewers, my ass.
You're more angry about this than I was. Just puzzled by it. I wasn't angry. I was just like, excuse me? I don't know this seems correct.
This is story time with me. When I had my first on-air job, my first full-time on-air job, I was in a town that no one's ever heard of. So for some PR and some exposure, I did a promotion where I lived on the roof of the TV station for a week while we filled up a U-Haul truck with donations for the local food banks for Thanksgiving. So central Pennsylvania in November, the first week, the weather can be kind of hit or miss. Lucked out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it was 70 degrees. Thursday morning, I woke up in my tent soaked because it had rained all night. And it got a little colder. And when you're in wet clothes in cold weather, it's really cold. And I wanted to get off that roof in the worst way. My boss was like, well, you're the one that said you'd stay there all week. And actually I said, until we fill up the truck. And so I get on the air and I said, hey, we're about 10 boxes short of filling this U-Haul. If there's anything you can do to come help fill up this truck and get the food out for families who need help this Thanksgiving. Look, we probably could have had 25 to 50 boxes, but I said 10 and we got like 30. So like, maybe that's this, over promise, under deliver, or under deliver, over promise, whatever that saying is, but fuck, 4 million people a week. I don't think anything gets 4 million viewers a week anymore.
Yeah. Football. That's about it.
Not this podcast. I know that.
No.
Not AEW Dynamite either.
We love our listeners and viewers, but there's not 4 million of you out there.
Oh, I'm actually Simon, my dude from Australia who listens. Him and his wife are coming to LA in a couple of weeks, and we're gonna have dinner.
Are they going for Mania?
Nice. No,
or just
they're touring LA. They're going to Vegas. They're coming back to LA. Like they're doing a whirlwind tour of the West Coast. So yeah. So Simon, if you are listening to this, I'm looking forward to hanging out with you. We're gonna have dinner at the Rainbow. He's a heavy metal dude, and I figure that's the most heavy metal place to go. And they have great
Love it.
fried cheese. Best in the
Awesome.
business. Let's talk more wrestling.
Yeah, was there any, I mean, do we all just want to say poo on the actual show announcement? Like, are you gonna try to check it out?
The real question is, what's going to be better, AEW All Access
Yeah.
or the Bianca and Montez show on Hulu?
It's a good question. That's a good question.
The answer
I'll
is
give
the
them both a shot.
Bianca and Montez on Hulu. There's your answer.
Well, I'm curious. The one name that I'd actually like to see on the All Access is Eddie Kingston's on there, and I hope he's just MFing all his coworkers behind their backs in the locker room. That could be pretty funny. He's a great promo. I'd love to see that. Joe,
He did that on the Mark Maron podcast.
okay, yeah, he does that
Yeah, he
wherever he goes. He doesn't give a f. So, Joe, your thoughts on all things?
I know I've talked.
Millions of viewers, All Access, everything.
I talked a lot.
No one cares about ratings really anymore. It's all about clicks. So if they're getting 4 million clicks, that's fine. But
What are you
I
talking
don't
about, Joe?
think
Have you
that
not seen Twitter? Every wrestling fan on Twitter loves ratings. They don't have any reason to love them.
Yeah, no. I don't pay attention to the ratings
Womp womp.
at all. I'm not in the board meetings. I'm not an advertiser. I don't care about the ratings. I just want a good show. The only thing that was interesting about the ratings past couple of weeks was Eric Bischoff talking about AEW, saying like they flatlined. He's not saying they're dead. He's saying that they haven't grown in 3 years.
Yeah, I mean that's just acknowledging the business
Management.
side of things. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
So the business side, like you could say, let's say they do have 4 million, but they've had it for 3 years. They haven't grown. They plateaued. So that's not a good thing. That's the only thing I really care about. It's like put on a good product and go out there in different places. Yes.
Entertain me.
And this new show
clown.
is not going to entertain me. I'm probably not going to watch it.
I mean, Rose to the Top was pretty bad.
Yes. But I like Miz
Oh
and Mrs.
yeah,
Miz and Mrs. was great. That's the best one out of all of them.
Even though we know it's staged, it doesn't matter. It's still entertaining because those two have so much chemistry and so much personality that I could watch Miz and Maurice for years and still be entertained.
1,000%.
And I have been.
They are the best.
But yeah, when it comes to the AEW thing, it's like I feel like I agree with Bischoff as they've plateaued in an entertainment standpoint too. They're doing the same thing.
So we can get into that a little bit. Some of the stories. So, because yeah, guys, we're a week out from Revolution. I won't be on the pod next week when you guys do a preview prediction show. But some of the main stories, obviously, you know, MJF, we've touched on a little bit. We've got this whole Tony Saraya versus the AEW original girls. We got Jungle Boy and Christian, Jericho, Ricky Starks, Mox and Hangman. Is there anything that's sticking out to you guys that you're enjoying? What's kind of your temperature with these AEW stories right now?
I think the 4-way tag title match is going to be fun, especially if Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett win the titles. I love it. I love Jeff Jarrett.
Good team to
so
put in
much.
that mix. Yep.
I don't know who the fourth team will be. I imagine it'll be like the Best Friends or I don't know.
The Lucha Brothers, maybe.
I think Lucha Brothers are too high of a team. They're too high up there to be involved with something like this.
Okay.
I think Lucha Brothers would.
They're too high to be in a tag match for the belts.
High on the ranking, high on the totem pole.
I know.
And honestly, the other three teams can't hang with the Lucha Bros. And that's not being shitty, it's just the truth.
Just the style, yeah. Joe, anything AEW that you're grabbing onto, or how's it feeling for you?
Sadly, no, not really. I think it's silly to have the Acclaim say we're going to invoke our rematch clause in a fatal 4-way. Why don't you invoke it when it's 1-on-1 so you have a chance to actually, earn the championship instead of having someone else pin someone else and you weren't involved in the decision? That doesn't make sense.
Let's hit that Steiner
and
math.
Hangman. Yeah, let's get
33 to 30%, 25%, 25%. Yes.
Moxley and Hangman have been feuding since what, October? Jungle Boy and Christian have been going on for 2 years, it seems like, and they're barely on television, but we still have to care. Ricky Starks and Jericho, they're going to have a great match, but that's been going on since November. I don't know. I'm just feeling
it's plateaued.
Yes.
I
and
think
MJ and MJF, I'm sorry, but like he has the same feud every time.
I'm curious though what the 60-minute. I mean, look, I chose not to go to Revolution because I don't want to sit in an arena for a 60-minute match with no commentary. I think the story will be good, but I'm curious to see how good MJF does for 60 minutes.
I am as well. That's a big test, and we know Danielson can do it. MJF, when he's in the ring, has always delivered, but this is another level. I was just glad what we saw on Wednesday night. We've hated on the, all right, Danielson, you got to beat the next 5 guys, and when MJF would even have any sort of close interaction, he would run away from Danielson, being like a coward. I hated that. It's been done a million times. Afraid of. I'm so sick of that. So finally, he came out on the aggressive of calling out Danielson for being selfish, not doing what he needs to do for his family, putting his health at risk, and bringing up, and Jay asked me to look this up. He alluded to how he was engaged to be married and saying that it broke off. Sean Ross Sapp says that is absolutely true. He got engaged in September, and apparently they're not engaged anymore. So that's the stuff I can at least watch from an entertainment standpoint and go, okay, I'm enjoying this, because all the other stuff in the last couple of weeks have just been nonsense. I think they need to do this. AEW moving forward, they need one more pay-per-view. They need 6, because now you put Forbidden Door in there. That's 5. They need 6, and they need to do one every 2 months. I feel like there's just been too much of a gap. Full Gear was mid to late November? Excuse me. That's a long. We had December.
4 months.
It's just too long. And all, like you said, Joe. Oh, this has been feuding since November. These guys have been feuding since blah, blah, blah. We need to get the things moving along a little faster. Add one more pay-per-view and have a balanced every other month. We've got a big show pay-per-view. And I think that's not too much to ask for. You're still letting stories play out, but you're not going to let them go on and drag, which is, I think, what they've been doing for way too long now.
Do we get the Bella Twins on AEW now? They were pissed off. They weren't written onto Monday Night Raw 30.
And Nikki's like going way off on everyone now. She is like trying to bury the entire company, saying that, I don't know if you saw it or not, their latest podcast saying with Renee. Did you hear that or no? I haven't seen that yet.
Maybe saw a clip.
She said that Vince McMahon yelled at her and Brie, after they won Diva of the Year and Total Divas was a hit, because they didn't create it. And that's why Daniel Bryan, like, basically that was his focus the whole time, not the fact that the fans were hijacking Daniel Bryan to get into the main event at WrestleMania. Vince was mad at the Divas, and that's why they got buried, because of them. It's like, you're delusional.
Well, and with this Saraya Tony Storm storyline, if they want to get the new Women Everywhere faction over, bring in the Bella Twins. I mean, they're terrible, but it furthers the story along.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
And Ruby, I mean, I hope she sides with the originals, not these dummies. But yeah, I think maybe with everything that's happened, and with MJF bringing up the family nonsense, maybe we get the Bella Twins on AEW now. And it would actually make sense for ex-WWE people to be signed to WWE. It doesn't have to be a full-time schedule. It could be a part-time deal. 4 matches a year, but 10 appearances overall. But yeah, now might be the time. If Tony Khan wants to help that women's division, at least with name value, I can't even believe I'm saying this. Bring in the Bella Twins.
But will it bump, or will it stay plateaued?
I think for women,
I think it could.
I think it'll increase women's viewing.
Mm-hmm.
Because women that watch Total Bellas that didn't know anything about wrestling, I know a lot of women that watch Bellas because it was on E, and Nikki just had this marriage show that just aired.
Mm-hmm.
Women that didn't normally watch wrestling but did because of the Bellas, that could really help the female demo on AEW.
I think that's all
and
great.
then they turn it on and hear MJF promo about anything, and then they'll turn it right back off. That's the problem. They don't cater to women.
Put Nikki with MJF, Brie with the Dragon. There you go.
See, and I was picturing it of like, can we have Brie play the Sami Zayn wife role at Revolution of in the front row, and MJF on that. And again, who knows? I don't know what their contracts are with WWE, if they're legends, or if they're not even under contract. It's all unknown, but there's an angle there I could see completely. All right. Another one was said for Saturday night for Elimination Chamber was the New Japan show. And Jay White lost his second loser leaves New Japan match. That's got to be a record of some sort. But he lost one in Japan. He lost one in America to Eddie Kingston. So he's gone. Guys, I said, let's play Booker. Where does he go next? How would you debut him? And what's like the first feud? What does it look like? Would anyone like to go first, Jay?
I'll go first. I'm a big Jay White fan. I found him on Impact, and then some of the stuff he's been doing on New Japan, so awesome. The night after Mania, he shows up with a returning Revival.
Oh, okay.
Then you have to add a heavy. I don't know who that is yet. Maybe Lashley doesn't go with the Hurt Business, or maybe Orton comes back.
Sure.
I think that if it's I think it would be great. I mean, I want the Revival back in WWE the worst way. You heard my love for Dax and Cash about 20 minutes ago. I think it's the night after Mania, and you put him in with him and Riddle.
This is where your My GM mode in WWE 2K22 plays effect. It's like, how do I?
You would
earn
know
money
this
with
if you
this?
played. Yes.
If I put
If you
1
played
minute
it,
into
how do
that
I keep
game,
Stephanie happy?
That's all you needed. Yes. 1 minute.
I don't know. Maybe you have Jay White and Riddle. Riddle returns, or Randy returns, and Jay White interrupts.
Or Omos, fresh off of beating Brock Lesnar, comes.
Nobody wants that.
No, well, come on.
I think
he debuts to win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. No.
No. Jay White interrupts a returning Randy Orton.
Joe, do you want to go, or you want me to go?
Jay White comes out to attack a gloating Seth Rollins after beating Logan Paul at WrestleMania, saying that no outsider can take his spot. Ha ha ha! And he starts dancing, and then Jay White comes from the crowd, and you get Seth Jay White. He's the gatekeeper of getting guys over in a WWE style because he can go with anyone.
Yeah,
so
100
Seth,
episodes, you finally contribute. Thanks, Joe.
Wow.
Dude. A little late on that one. Sorry. But that's when I heard Jay White, if it's WWE, it's got to go against Seth the night after Mania.
Keep him away from AEW, please.
No, that's great.
He was already there and did nothing.
Yeah. Right. So I'm also going the Raw after Mania. I wanted to go with the like pay backlash, the WrestleMania.
Pay Backlash.
Yeah, like I wanted to go with that next one, but I couldn't find a concrete of when it is. Right now, from the sites I looked at, the next show that is like tentative is a June show in Saudi Arabia. And I'm like, I don't see that happening. And then the next one is Money in the Bank over in England.
London.
Yes. So I said, all right, let's go Raw after Mania. First, AJ Styles returns, guys. He's been out with a broken ankle. He comes out. We're excited to have AJ back. He comes out with Gallows and Anderson. The club's back together again. AJ talks about being back after his broken ankle. Seems like the promo's over. Gallows and Anderson say, hey, hold up, AJ. You know, we haven't been on TV since you got hurt. We just can't count on you anymore. We're rolling with this guy now.
Wow.
Jay White from behind, 3-on-1 beatdown. And we got Jay White with Gallows and Anderson going up against AJ and tag team of his choosing, the Street Profits or whoever the case.
That's really good. Wow.
Hey, okay.
I suck at this game.
No, I like your Omos takes on Jay White. But, oh, wait, no, we made that up. Okay. All right, well, that's good. That's a dream match in any arena, Joe. Come on. Any town would.
Kevin would say he would be going to AEW and challenge MJF and be like,
MJF,
no. but Jay White has to beat 5 other guys ahead of time, so he can earn the right to face MJF.
That's naturally to earn a contract. Yeah.
Or he shows up in AEW or WWE to fight Edge.
Ooh.
Another Kevin. That's another Kevin.
Yeah, to Edge. Edge is a Kevin guy. Yeah.
Okay. Hear me out. So he faces The Miz. I love The Miz, but that's not a good matchup at all.
There's Miz's WrestleMania moment. That's what the envelope says.
That is.
Jay White.
Jay White is coming to WrestleMania. He's thrilled. Best birthday or anniversary.
And he was so happy. He was so happy he made out with his wife.
That's rather unexpected. All right, well, that's fun, guys. We'll keep a pin on that and see what happens with Jay White. Last topic for today. So the XFL re-debuted for the 3rd time this past weekend. Me being a devoted XFL fan, I admit I didn't watch 1 minute of it. I couldn't find it. Every time I looked, I was never able to find it.
It's on ABC.
I couldn't find it.
It's on ESPN.
But it was like
ABC
on FX
is a national broadcasting.
I never found it. Now I was out in the town on Saturday until Elimination Chamber, but there was games on Sundays too. Oh yeah,
We know you were out on the
Cheers. But even on Sunday, there was the All-Star Game stuff and Daytona 500, and every time I looked, I could never find it. So I'm a bad XFL fan. But what I did read up on was some buzz about some of the rule changes they have that makes it different from the NFL. The 2 that were put into use was in one of the games. So when you get a touchdown, instead of a 2-point conversion, they back it up even farther. You could do a 3-point conversion. So a team did that. Instead of doing an onside kick, they give that team that would be doing the kickoff 1 play. It's essentially a 4th and 15. And if they make it, they keep the ball. So kind of funky, kind of different. But yeah, so what I decided for this topic is coming up with an inspired rule change for wrestling. Just one change you would make in wrestling, kind of in that same XFL vein. I would like to go first. This rule would be that for title matches, any title match, doesn't matter which one, the challengers are allowed 1 60-second timeout in the match. But on the surface, I'm like, I hate that idea. But if they use it and they lose the match, they go on to lose the match, they cannot challenge for that title for 1 calendar year. So you really gotta, we need this timeout, because if you fuck up and lose their title match, back of the line you go for a whole year.
That's cool. I'm curious if you're going to pigeonhole the XFL into every show for the rest of the season, because you're 2 for 2 right now.
When I watch, I will actually do so. Yeah.
So when I was a kid, I've talked about I loved the NWA and early WCW stuff, and there was this weird rule at some point that if you got thrown over the top rope, or if you threw someone over the top rope, you were disqualified. And I thought that was just interesting. And it made bad guys have to be really bad guys because they had to like really trick the referee to turn around, that type of stuff. And the good guys, they got one over by, if they trick the referee, hey, what's over there? And referee turns and he throws it over the top rope. My rule has nothing to do with that, but I just wanted to say I love that from back in the day.
That is a good one.
My rule is similar to what New Japan does. They do a 20 count.
Oh.
For outside.
Yeah.
When you're outside the ring. And I think that would be beneficial. It would add more action. I mean, think about how many times the referee's at 9 and the guy's flat, and all of a sudden he just jumps up and gets under the rope. Like, I mean, some of that is cool, but there's a lot of times it just looks fucking corny. So give me a 20 count across the board on all outside of the ring action.
I like that because I think especially, and every company does it, the 10 count is used very judiciously.
Ref discretion.
Yes, ref discretion. I think AEW, I can think of half a dozen examples of that where they just fight. There's no 10 count. The ref just says, come on, bring it in the ring. So if we have that allows for outside action without having that hanging over your head of they got a count of 10, gives them time to actually do some work before going in. Good stuff.
Joe?
All right, this one goes back to my gaming days of the old WCW Nitro and Thunder games that were on PlayStation. I know, Brian, you never played it. It was never on Nintendo. But when you played those games, if you press select, the referee basically turned their back and you could have a run-in.
Oh, fine.
I want a 2-minute card played in there where it's like basically the throw a flag and the ref has to leave the ring. And for those 2 minutes, it's no ref. So for
the ref goes in a penalty box.
So it's like a King of the Mountain match.
Yeah, pretty much. The ref has to leave. It's like basically each one has a flag that only can be used once. So it depends on like which guy's going to throw the flag first. Because one guy throws the flag, the other one can't. So for that 2 minutes, it's a free for all.
This is kind of like
anyone from the back can come out and attack. This could be a way to get the belts off Roman because Uso Fearns would be worthless now because anybody could come out and take out Roman too. And it would be legal. 2 minutes.
This is like the at the NBA All-Star Celebrity Game, there was like ruffle time where you hit the ruffle buzzer, like Ruffles potato chips, and points were doubled for 2 minutes.
That's fun.
Once you hit the buzzer.
Right.
And then there was the 4-point line that was sponsored by Ruffles. So that's cool. I like that idea, Joe.
It's like it's a little bit of like, the old game, the Ruffle, and if you know the Fast and the Furious movies, the first one, you don't want to hit the nitrous too early because you'll lose the race. So you don't want to throw your flag too early into the match. You want to do it later at the best time.
Timing is everything. Yeah, and NXT for that Iron Survivor Challenge, they brought out the penalty box.
Yes.
When somebody took a pin,
right,
they had to go out for maybe 90 seconds or 2 minutes. I don't remember. I like that though. With the ref has to go like, oh man,
the ref has to leave.
They play the sad trombone from Price is Right.
Yeah.
and then the timer on the Tron comes up of 2 minutes of the countdown. So the ref is watching this all happen, but can't do anything about it.
Yeah. I love it.
Wow.
All right.
Nice.
We have yours is realistic, Jay. Like that can actually happen. And R2 is way out of the box. And that's good, man.
Honorable mentions. I looked up some stuff from New Japan and two that really made me laugh. They have ringside care for referees when they get knocked out. And then the other ones,
we definitely don't have that in WWE.
And then title changes on a DQ or a count out because a loss is a loss is a loss. Yeah.
That's right. Cool. I like
that's
that.
Actually a good one too.
Sometimes you'll have that match of like if he gets disqualified, he'll lose. That's a stipulation you see occasionally, but
in New Japan,
yeah,
it's that all the time.
Across the board. All right. Love it.
Plus, I feel like mine would take away the whole cliche of the ref bump because it's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
It does. It happens quite often in the big matches. Guys, any final parting thoughts? I think we're good here. Thanks for nothing, Kev. We love you though.
I got Springsteen tickets for December.
Hey, and at the Forum.
Yeah,
Okay, nice.
I years ago said, "Oh, I'll wait until the next tour to see Tom Petty," and then he died, and I am not able to see Tom Petty. I wasn't doing that again. And with Ticketmaster being so screwed up since the Taylor Swift thing, you have to register for the chance to buy tickets.
Wow.
So I registered. You have to pick 3. So I registered for both LA shows, and then the third one, I'm like, "Fuck, what am I going to do?" So I registered for the Pittsburgh show in September. I got an email and "You're eligible to buy for the Pittsburgh show," and I'm like, "I don't want the Pittsburgh show." And then this morning, I got a random pop-up. It says, "Pre-sales happening now. Here's your code." I'm so excited. Now the tickets there are tickets that were super expensive. Luckily, I think I paid like $140 for 140 each. So for like $400, I get to see Springsteen. Now, granted, it's in December, so it's 8 months away, but I'm so excited. So excited.
Nice.
That's my final thought.
Don't tear your Achilles like Zach De La Roca, and you'll be able to see him in concert just like that. Have your concert dreams. Joe, any final things? Oh, go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
Because Springsteen listens to this. I know he does.
Yeah, he does.
He's one of the 2 million.
If it wasn't for Springsteen, we'd be in the 3 million ranking, but we're in the 2 million ranking. So thank you, Bruce. No, I'm good to go. I'm
awesome.
just getting ready for Mania. Quite honestly, that's
road.
My focus for the next couple of weeks.
Well, guys, I'll be off next week. I am on a cruise that's not the Chris Jericho cruise, so it's not worth talking about. But I will miss you guys and hold down the fort well without me. YouTube.com/That Wrestling Podcast at That WrestlePod for the socials, and That WrestlePod at gmail.com for your.
And we're on TikTok now. We're doing TikTok.
Oh,
now.
yes.
Taking it a little more serious than we had been previously. So. TikTok at That WrestlePod. What's the TikTok?
Thank you. Yes, at That WrestlePod for TikTok as well, and whatamaneuver.net for all your merchandise needs. Enjoy wrestling, everybody. We'll talk to you next week, except me.
Ahoy.
Thanks for listening. Follow That WrestlePod on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.
1, 2, 3, that's it!
Thanks for watching That Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And for more That Wrestling Podcast content, follow at That WrestlePod on social media.